And we're live. Welcome everyone to the Wicked Weekend podcast. It's been a minute. We've been gone for a time, off in lands, doing our own things, but we're back and we're more wicked than ever. So we welcome you. Welcome, guys. How's it going?
Okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah, surviving.
Well, to introduce ourselves, my name is Michael. I'm the Wicked co-founder. Today we're joined by two of Sparkman Studios' best and greatest minds. We have Chuck and Eric. And then we have the irreverent Spanish man himself, Canales Ibai. Welcome.
Hola.
Glad to have you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, how are you guys doing?
Pretty good. Like you said, just keeping busy. You know, with us fulfilling the campaign stuff. You know, both Eric and I have been pretty busy with things going on. You know, the good thing is a lot of all the domestic backers are out.
No, pretty much. As far as merchandise goes, 100% of our domestic backers have been shipped to, so right now it's simply a matter of waiting on the printing to actually get books to domestic. And then our international backers, they haven't been shipped anything because we're waiting on the books, and they'll get all their stuff shipped at once. So we're pretty much just in a holding pattern now, waiting for the printing. But it felt good to know that pretty much everyone's received something at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is nice to finally be in the proofing process, and have the printer finally working on the books.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I don't know if what we would offer posters again. the problem with posters is they're an item that is fairly inexpensive, but when you're talking about it in quantity, like if you have 100 people, well, that's $100 in posters. You know, it's a cheap item, but it does add up, and then. I think the biggest problem with them comes in the shipping. Unless you actually want to fold them, which we didn't want to do. Now you're investing in some sort of box or paper tube. So
right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even if you ship them
as
cheap as you possibly can in a tube, I mean,
you're still,
let's say it's like $2.50 to ship the poster. And now you're shipping that to like 100 people. Unless it's something where you're packaging it with some other piece of merchandise, like people that got the T-shirt also got posters, and so the poster tube fits in a box with the T-shirt. It's not that bad.
That makes sense.
But when you're shipping just a poster or a couple to people, just the shipping cost adds up, and that's something people really need to consider. That do any sort of crowdfunding. They're like, posters, that's cheap. Okay, well, are you going to give someone a poster with creases all through it where you can fold it up and put it in the book? Well, if not, then expect that your shipping costs are really going to add up.
That's why I prefer. I was just going to say, that's why I prefer prints, honestly, because anything bigger than 8.5 by 11, like you said, just becomes really kind of annoying or difficult to ship.
Yeah, and we do 11 by 17 on our post.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, and this is why I kind of been adopting the motto that Brian Balls does. Don't offer the sun on your campaigns. Because if you can't fulfill that, efficiently. I mean, Eric and I both, we realized like how. Even with the money we had everything budgeted based on if we fulfilled our campaign. Well, because we didn't meet our Indiegogo one completely, we kind of had to retool and pull money from our own personal budget to fulfill things.
Yeah, we're like, hey, how much is it going to cost? We need to order, 100 poster tubes.
Yeah.
Well, you're paying to ship the tubes to yourself so that you can then pay again to ship them somewhere else.
Oh boy.
and so people really got to keep that in mind when it comes to any sort of freebies or perks and stuff. And it's one of those things where the contributors from their end, they see it as a poster. It's only costing you, $1 or $2 or whatever to print that for me. But when you have multiple contributors, I mean, imagine if you had a campaign and you got 1,000 contributors. You're looking at like $2,000 and just printing little posters.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where
But I think overall, though, even though we had to pull out, I think for me, I am grateful for the backers that we did have. It's just for people when they do their campaigns, I think just make sure if you don't have your campaign budgeted correctly, even if you don't make your funding, it's best thing to do is you have to retool the campaign not to include the extra freebie stuff.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Other than that, it has been, dealing with we've been looking at artists for our, Wikid release, once we finish all our backers. So we've been looking at artists, to do, our mass market release cover. I think we've narrowed down to like 3 or 4 people.
There's two people I really like.
Yeah. So other than that, but we're keeping busy. We got things lined up. We have a merch store finally that's kind of like an all-encompassing thing.
Nice.
So that way we have everything linked to the comic books to your guys' site. And then that way people want other stuff. They want a jacket or a hoodie or something like that. We have those things available for people.
Yeah, one of the annoying things that we had to deal with that also delayed some of the merch shipping was we had a T-shirt vendor that we returned to, and we had used him for all the T-shirts that we ever did. We got done from this guy, and we hadn't had any made for quite some time, but he was willing to do it for with no price increase and stuff like that, and so we went with him. He's a little bit of a drive from where I moved to now, but he had them done for the campaign like last year, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I went to pick them up, and they were crap. He didn't do them right, and he got really pissed off, like, well, you didn't tell me you needed them done this way. And I'm like thinking, dude, you've done these multiple times before and did them correctly. Why would I specify that they needed done in a certain fashion? I don't know your graphics industry and how it works. I just know I ordered shirts before I was happy with. I'm ordering the same thing.
Yeah.
You messed it up. So I kind of feel like, I don't know if he was just screwing with us because he was pissed off about that, but I kept calling, and he was difficult to get in touch with, and then I would get in touch with him. Haven't gotten to it yet, and I got that for a long time, and so finally he had said, oh, well, they should be done tomorrow at one point. And 2 weeks later, I think I still wasn't able to get a hold of him. I was leaving him messages every other day. And finally,
essentially ghosted us.
Yeah, and finally I said, dude, you know what? I don't think you're going to get them done. Forget about it. We'll go someplace else. So I found a company that was closer. They had a good reputation. And Chuck and I had actually gotten a couple simple T-shirts from like 20 years ago. So we went with them. They were a little bit more expensive. Unfortunately, that's more money out of our pocket. But we got them done, and so we were able to ship them. And the nice thing is now if we want any more of that print made, we have a local place that can do it. So
that's pretty nice, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, that way if we, somebody wants to order something from us, that's the shirt that we can actually have on our website right there that we can actually fulfill fairly quickly.
Well, if we do a convention or something, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
You don't order a bunch of shirts from a print on demand place for yourself, because even if you get a discount and you get it at cost, it's like, hey, I have a couple T-shirts for $25 that, how much can I really sell them for? So
true. Yeah, you make a good point there.
Yeah, and especially since with us, we have a lot of local conventions. hopefully, we'll be at Baltimore this year if everything's back up and running.
Gosh, yeah, right. Definitely don't be holding your breath on that one.
Yeah. What sucks is because Baltimore is actually really close for us, and it's really good. We love Baltimore ComicCon. It's a great con. I highly recommend it if you guys ever get to a chance to come to a convention, because they are all about comics.
Yeah, it wasn't until like maybe about 5 years ago, you think that they actually did not have a lot of media guests. Like if they wouldn't get some actor from Arrow or something, it would be like, no, it's like comic artists and writers.
Yeah.
They were very, because it's the same guy I think now that started it. Has been running it all these years, and he's also been very focused on a comic convention being about comics. Like you go there, you're going to find tons of dealers with long boxes and stuff. It's not all going to be Funko Pop people.
Yeah, you're also going to meet like Terry Moore. You're going to meet Chris Claremont. Frank Cho, and the big guys. Basically it's East Coast version of San Diego Comic-Con. Yes.
Only without the headache.
Have you been out to many conventions, man?
So it's a fun con. Yeah, like
have you been out to conventions too much, or you hearing me, man, or?
Sorry.
I may have lost you, by.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. You were asking me. I thought you were asking him.
Oh no, I was just wondering if you had been out to that convention or any conventions out here, man.
Oh yeah, no, I've been to New York ComicCon twice, and it's just as Chuck said, I felt like it had it was big on comic books, but I thought it was bigger on overall pop culture, and it was more like an event for cosplayers, toy collectors, and
in that regards, New York really is the East Coast San Diego. Because now you think about it, San Diego really isn't about just books and stuff.
Yeah, that's everything that they do. Hollywood, and
I mean Baltimore. Like I said, in recent years, they have a lot more guests and stuff. But I think part of that, to some degree, is survivability, because you could say you want a convention all about something, but what's going to bring people in the door? So. I think it's survivability in some cases.
Yeah, no, I completely understand, especially considering the fact that comics have gone to hell in the last few years. So, how else are you going to maintain a Comic-Con if it's not with everything else that is in the roster for nerds? Which is it's what stores do here. I mean, I've seen like the birth of a new type of nerd-oriented store that doesn't really sell comic books. It only sells merchandising. Like coffee mugs and T-shirts and memorabilia and whatnot. It doesn't sell a single comic book or a single DVD or whatever. It's just everything else.
Well, a buddy of mine, now he lives out in Ohio, but he has a couple comic shops near him, and both me and my friend, like we hate Funko Pops, and he said, at least 2 of the 3 shops that he's been at, that they're like, yeah, we don't really like them either, but quite frankly, the sales of those are keeping their stores afloat.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I can totally see that.
And I mean that's sad to think about, because if the bubble ever bursts on those and people just lose interest, they're really keeping their store open based on merch.
Well, the thing is with Funko Pops is now they've gone into anime too, and
they've done. I have often said I would not be surprised if I walked in a store one day and they have a Funko Pop of me, my wife, my friends, and I would be like, well, okay, why do these exist? And Funko would just be like, we ran out of ideas of every fictional character, every musician, every actor. We finally just had to go with like just ordinary everyday people. Like, oh, here's Joe.
We just go into people's homes during the night and take pictures of them while they sleep, and we make dolls of them.
Yeah, they finally get to that point. Yeah, you know what? If they made a Funko Pop of me, that might actually be the first Funko I would buy. I'd be like, well, it's me. I have to get it.
I have one Funko Pop, and that was from my manager got me a Han Solo of Han Solo and his Hoth gear.
And that's the thing. That's a gift, so you kind of feel bad, like setting
Right,
it on fire.
right.
Yeah, I'm not.
I had two Funkos myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not a Funko person myself. I'm really into like the Figma figures and stuff like that. But I kept that because it was a gift from a manager I really like and stuff like that. So, but if someone would if they would come to us and say, hey, we want to do a Sporkman Funko, I think I would probably still do it because there are people out there that like them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I am not averse to taking people's money for stupid merchandise if they really want the stupid merchandise.
Hey, but here's a shout out though. Scott actually from Wrath actually has a Funko version of Sporkman.
Oh yeah,
Wrath.
True.
Like just in the background somewhere. That's hilarious.
Yeah, Charger and us and Charger.
Nice.
If someone ever offered me the idea of making Funko Pops of Decimators, I would like that gift of Woody Harrelson wiping his tears with dollar bills. I'll be like, I've sold myself to the man, but I'd be filthy rich. So
but you can buy custom Funko Pops online.
Yeah.
People do that.
Hey, Canales, I got a question for you because you just mentioned Decimators and stuff, and I just heard this the other day, and I wanted to know if you were aware of this. But people said they were saying how like we use the term now decimate to be like obliterate, smash or whatever like that. But in reality, what that word actually means is to reduce by 10%.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of those words that have been bastardized with use. But yeah, to decimate.
But I'm saying like the decimators in your story, is that actually the goal, to just reduce those people by 10% or to actually obliterate them?
Well, now that you mention it, I guess there's some aspect of population control to it. But originally it was just a word that I thought sounded cool because I heard it in a movie. Like this virus was decimating humans. That sounds cool.
It. But when I realized, the true definition of it, I thought, well, now decimators is kind of funny because it's like, go and destroy these people. Only 10% of them.
Yeah, we're only gonna kill 1 out of 10. That's all we're gonna do. Not more. We don't get paid to do anything else.
Speaking of decimators, Canals, didn't you just release issue 4?
Yes. Was it issue 5 though?
No, issue 4 is out now. Okay, we just released issue 4, and volume 5 volume 4 rather. And volume 5 is currently at the printer.
Oh, cool.
Oh wow.
I was about to pull up a little teaser for everybody.
I know, Eric, you enjoyed Decimators, right?
It's hilarious. It's my kind of satire.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're liking it, man. Yeah, I like I always tell you about it, it's really unique, his take on the whole thing,
Hey, another question for both Mike or Ebi. Have you guys thought about, since you got 4 issues already, just combining them maybe into like a small trade or like a smaller, putting them all in as one thing? Then that way,
well, we probably will do that. We have, I think there's 3 more volumes left.
Okay.
And then the whole and then it's all done. And so we'll probably do it when we get to I think like 9 volumes, and we'll put all that in one graphic novel.
Yeah, cool. I think that's a great
I'm
idea.
There.
You gotta milk that franchise.
Right? So I'm pulling up here. This is the cover preview for volume 5. So this is a wild one came up with. Oh man, you gotta love Ebi's. You gotta love that wit, man.
Hey, here's a question: Do we have a headshot in volume 5?
I'm sure.
Probably. I've
There's a lot of
I've
headshots in
taken.
that.
Why
in
is
that
that like a thing? Like
With-
every issue?
Yeah, well,
Is it
with
every
eBay, it's a running joke that we have to have a headshot and everything.
Nice.
It started with Iron Sights.
Iron Sights.
That became a thing.
It's all Zach's fault. He's the one who made me draw a lot of sniper dudes taking headshots to people. So I become the headshot guy. I'm completely okay with that. I like doing headshots.
And, that's okay. Like we said before, it's a signature. Why not?
Yes.
Why not use it?
Well, I can tell you that the comic that I'm drawing currently, Jonislaw, has a couple of really like what's the word I'm looking for? Visual headshots. Like, oh shit, that guy really got his head blown off. No doubt about it.
Visually, yeah. It's
Yes,
very impactful.
yes, that's probably the word I'm looking for.
It's like a nice period at the end of a sentence, just kind of ends your statement there, and nothing more to be said. That's it. It's very very satisfying, I would say.
The world always needs as many headshots as possible.
See, what you need to do though is to keep it fresh. Then you have to keep changing the kind of headshot. Like, is it just off the very top?
That's completely true. That's completely true. I'm like, I'm like, okay, I've already drawn this guy taking a headshot on the side of his head. Now I should probably draw like a headshot on the left temple, maybe on the forehead, maybe maybe.
Well, you gotta go full on
with ricochet.
Yeah, you gotta go full quick with it, man. You gotta make it like trick shots, and you're using like
you gotta
because someone would be like, oh, he missed the shot, and then the bullet like ricochets and comes back around and
absolutely you gotta keep those headshots fresh.
We have got to do a process with eBay and do something like that.
Oh god. You could do like a dark version of Sparkman to be like the whole Archie goes to hell type deal. And it's like Sporkman's out for bloody revenge. This ain't your mom, Sporkman. This is a whole new Sporkman.
Actually, we do actually have a Sporkman that is a little bit darker. It's called Sporkman 1.0.
Nice.
It plays in Tokyo in the future.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's kind of like Batman Beyond a little bit.
Yeah.
Sporkman 29. A little bit more serious. There is some killing and stuff like that. It is a little darker.
Maybe that'll see the light of day one of these days.
I'll just be happy when the next volume sees the light of day.
That's Sporkman's on the high seas, right?
Yeah. Actually, that's something we're probably going to work on today. We're hoping start banging out because we need to start looking for artists for that because we want to really gear up. Because since we're in the middle of being campaign funding, I think we probably want it. Our goal is to get fall was to originally, hopefully, start looking at crowdfunding or get an artist and stuff like that. So, and then we also have coming up. One of our characters, Natsume, will be in a one-off done by Rags Comic called Sailor Rogowski.
Well, that's sort of it isn't like that one issue kind of its own alternate universe sort of thing.
Yep. So it's gonna have a lot of our female cast. It's gonna be a Sailor Moon type
crossover. You might say even.
Yeah, Sailor Moon along with it's gonna be a little bit dark. It's gonna have a lot of dark elements in it, but it's gonna be a fun comic. So, but other than that, we got other ideas we're trying to work through. So, but our main goal is hopefully we can go, crowdfund this fall for On the High Seas. Then that way, that we can get that done and get it to people and stuff like that.
Actually, I have a picture I can bring up here. Speaking of your project there, but sorry, go ahead and continue. I'll bring it up.
No, yeah. We also really want to get to we have a side story for Natsume called Spearhead we really want to do, and it actually takes place between Japan and the next issue of Sporkman that whenever he goes back to Japan and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was actually one thing that I think we actually had it down as our stretch goal.
Yeah.
Like our longest stretch goal. If we had done
Look
really
who it
well,
is.
include we were going to include it in the back of the Japan trade, where it was going to be like a little epilogue kind of story.
Yep. So there is Natsume with her into that version of the Super Mega Sporktron.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have we have an alternate version of Super Mega Sporktron. So we kind of pulled a lot of stuff from anime because Natsume is she's our character, so we're pulling things from like mecha shows and anime and Sailor Moon, and kind of giving it its own spin. So but Rags really likes our character, so he asked for us to use it, so and he's doing it justice. So
that's awesome, man.
Other than that, on the high seas, just for artists out there, we're gonna start looking for artists here.
Yeah, I know, like one of the guys that we wanted that I'm sort of leaning towards to do the mass market cover for Japan. I had asked him about, hey, would you be available to do like a whole book, and he's busy doing like a lot of his own stuff, so right now we don't have anyone lined up for that yet. So that's kind of like
okay, interesting.
Yeah, so that's kind of like our key goal, because like in the past, we've been approached by people before that are like, hey, I can do some work, and we're like, oh, okay, let's see your portfolio, and they don't have any sequential art. They might have like 20 different art pieces that are all slightly different, but like none of them are finished, that they really feel polished, and so I think it's really important that when you get an artist, it's not just someone who they can draw a picture really well, but they have to be able to understand how the sequential art works, and like how to storyboard a page, because they could be good at drawing something, but you're not going to have every single page is a full frame. So
not to mention the tone of the story, because if there's something that irks me when it comes to comic books, it when they pick the wrong artist for the project, not because he's a bad artist, but because he uses a style that doesn't fit the story, like drawing drawing a horror comic in like manga style, like a merry manga style, a Madureira style.
Yeah, and like there's a project of my own that I'd like to do that I have a very specific style in mind that would be like nothing like Sporkman, and what you said, it really has to fit the the tone of the comic.
Yeah, whereas like I know Natsume, we want her in manga style. We really want to keep her because that's her thing. So
Oh, I guess I can't.
Speaking of which, we're seeing some more awesome art of her as the Breaker.
Yep.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, and Illustrator Monk is this is why I want to get some artwork done. Illustrator Monk has done a fantastic job.
Oh yeah,
he would be available for a whole book.
Yeah, dude, seriously.
Yeah, Illustrator Monk does a lot of great artwork that way, but I don't know if he does sequential stuff. I'll have to talk with him.
Yeah, good point.
I think he's got really good style.
Yeah,
you can do it for sure. Oh
yeah. I know. Now we didn't commission these. These were actually commissioned by. There's.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah,
one.
that's that's the alt Super Mega Sporktron.
I love that design.
I
want to.
That looks good.
I think I got to talk to Eric about it, but I really want to maybe possibly incorporate that into the Sporkman comic somehow.
That would be cool. Yeah.
How we could do it, because I love that design. Even though I love the original one, I think this one's
it has a lot more intricate detail.
Yeah, I think for the thing is, that's the thing is with Illustrator Monk, he does a phenomenal job, and I mean I was blown away, and that's the thing is, I know Natsume's a great character. We love Natsume, so I think having her with her own comic is just an idea we've always toyed with. And once we created her, just because we really like her as a character, and we always said that she's a superhero in her own right. And technically now we are kind of getting that with the spinoff with Rags Comics, but we really want to do our own too. So There we go. Neo says Sporktron got an upgrade. We can always do that with the return to Japan.
Yeah.
We can say, Sporkman, that we decided to redesign the Super Mega Sporktron, and here's the new one. And it's a single person.
Damage.
So. 2.0, dude. Just like how Tony Stark always has a new suit,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so gotta give shout out to Illustrator Monk and Rags. Great guys. They did a phenomenal justice with our characters. So but go ahead. Now I will say the comic is only going to be available through Patreon. So it's not going to have like a wide release, I believe.
Did he say like how long it's going to be?
It's only like, I'm not sure how many pages. I think it's like only like 42 or 48 pages.
Well, that's still a lot.
Yeah.
that's like
2.5. Yeah, that's almost 2 pages.
Like
yeah. But it's going to be a self-contained story. Of course we have the rights. I did talk with Brian. We have the rights to create anything outside of the universe for our own characters and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so we have a lot of things we have planned, and we have a lot of great characters that we want to work with, and I would love to be able to work with other writers and stuff like that down the road and other artists. So, but I don't want to hog it too much, because I tend to talk like that. I know Scott just came in.
Yeah, Scott, are you there? And I see you're muted, but I wasn't sure if you were just. Yeah. What's up, man?
Yeah, I decided I'm gonna split segments today. Do half
Nice.
this one, half the other one.
My God, he's the rebel.
Yeah.
He's
Crazy
making up his own
bastard.
rules.
Did you get your copy of Wrath?
No.
Oh, okay.
Is it still in the mail? Maybe.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything.
Did you back it?
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't get a chance to.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I thought you meant he was a backer. Okay.
Yeah, no, I wanted to, and I want to read it.
Oh, definitely. We'll definitely get your copy. Probably pretty soon. We always do the Christmas packages, so if anything, you'll be getting it that around that time.
And,
so Scott, did you ever do that thing where it's all black and white except for the creature? Then
Yeah.
Yep. Totally did that.
I forgot to bring it over.
I just feel so bad that I love that you did that as an artistic choice. I just hate the fact that you had to pay for full color, right? You had to pay the whole book full color, right?
Just for the printing.
Yeah.
But that's not terrible. I mean, it's not like I had to pay, the artist for fully coloring the pages. He just still gave me the grayscale pricing. So.
Yeah, I know, but
that's kind of nice.
I mean,
yeah, you're right.
Because
it does.
Pages that don't have any color.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just happy that it came out as well as it did. That's
oh my God, it looks so good, dude. Dude, it looks so the black and white with the color on it looks so good.
I forgot to bring it to show Eric, but I love it. I know some of the lettering. We talked with Scott last week about some of the lettering, but other than that, like everything else turned out fantastic with the comic. I think Scott, you really should be proud of yourself for what you've done.
Oh yeah, and I'm using that to grow and expand. That was my first comic, and I think I started off at a really good spot as far as what I was able to do with my team.
Oh yeah, I mean you got a successful campaign, then that's always something to be proud of.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I was previewing the first 5 pages I got back for chapter 2. We've got the line art pages. I've shown off a couple of them, but I was going over all the lettering, like you said, and there's a couple other things, and just some reminders for Emilio to put into the final pages.
Very nice, man.
But yeah,
it should be exciting.
Yeah, we're definitely working towards getting as much as that as we can done before we launch for Indiegogo. And we're also prepping out some of the tiers. And it was interesting listening to Chuck talk about some of the things he was doing, with his Sporkman Goes to Japan campaign. One of the things I want to do with this next Indiegogo is I have that web store similar to what he has, and I've been thinking of ways how to best use that for fulfillment purposes for this next campaign, and also adding some stuff that was not available in my first campaign.
Very nice, man. Yeah. So this is an issue 2 cover, right?
That is the variant cover for issue 2. You'll only be
love
able
this cover, man.
to get that from the live campaign. So if you really like that cover, you got to back the book during the live campaign.
Dude, I think with you having Rosalind doing that, she's a fantastic artist. Of course, then you had Drew doing your first cover. Like, your variant covers have been fantastic, and I definitely, once you do issue 2, I'm there, or chapter 2, I'm there with the variant cover, bro.
Right, that was a good one. Yeah.
As soon as I saw Rosalind's artwork, I kind of specifically designed this to play on her strengths.
Interesting.
And I think it really translated well.
Yeah, it definitely did. Yeah, I mean, I love the transition from the lighter side on the left to the dark inking in the center, and then you get the blue tones on the right. Just works
the blue highlight in the corner is really cool.
Yeah, we really like to play with that light and dark aspect on our covers, and so it fits the theme with that too.
Sorry, it's cutting here. I'm getting a little feedback from someone. I'm not sure who, but I just wanted to let someone know, so maybe we can get that fixed. But so dude, yeah, the cover is awesome, and actually we have some interior art here we can show off as well.
Yeah, and this is still just the line art phase. You'll get a little bit more detail in those bottom panels because when those are finished, I don't know if everyone has seen the flashbacks. Whenever we do a flashback and we see through the creature's eyes, we actually do those panels in a blue shading.
Interesting. Any particular reason for the blue shading there, other than the obvious connection to the his powers?
It gives some separation, and also gets like this really cool effect. And if you look at the borders of the panels, Emilio makes them a little bit rougher, as well. Kind of gives it like a more savage look to it.
HG Squeezy in the chat says that cover looks amazing.
Oh, thanks, man. But it was actually Emilio's idea when we were doing the first book to add that blue tone. He's like, "What if I do this in blue?" And I'm like, "Let me see it." And then he showed me the page. I'm like, "Oh, that looks awesome. You have to do that."
Wow. Yeah, that's cool. Very, very awesome, man. Yeah, the first issue came out awesome. So are we going to see a return of the infamous, Jay and Silent Bob characters?
There's another page in a flashback.
Okay.
But you're not gonna see them other than that. That they're not Jay and Silent. That's just a funny story.
I know. I just loved him. I loved it. I can't let that go outside just to see funny.
Yeah. The funny part is like I just gave brief descriptions of them, and then Drew drew them like Jay and Silent Bob, and I even told her, I'm like, try not to make them look too much like them, and she's like, "Who's Jay and Silent Bob?"
What?
No, she said,
"Oh my God, what?" I thought she must have seen the movie recently.
No,
oh, that's bizarre.
I mean, they're like subconsciously archetypal characters, like the walking man in a hat.
And the sports jersey, right? The oversized sports jersey.
Yeah, and she even told me that she based them on, like just kind of the kids she went to high school with. Like kind of the thug-looking ones, and I'm like, I guess they got a lot of Jay and Silent Bob cosplayers out there.
she went to high school with a bunch of Jay Bob cosplayers, man.
But she even showed me like a reference for one of them, and it wasn't them, and yeah, it's just a funny little coincidence that they just turned out like that.
I wonder if we have that image somewhere we can throw up there. Oh man, yeah, that is pretty awesome. Well, that's cool. Do you know when you might be launching your next campaign, man?
I'm shooting for sometime in August. I don't have the specific date yet. It's gonna come down to how quickly we finish the pre-launch work as far as we can, and what dates look appealing. But I have been talking to Amelia. We were, polling to see if there was if people were interested in like a exclusive T-shirt tier. So I've been talking to Emilio, and he is talking about doing a custom art piece that will be featured on a shirt, a print, and maybe a sticker that will be in various tiers for the campaign.
Very nice. Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah.
Going into some of the stuff that Chuck was talking about earlier, the way I plan on doing that is doing the shirts through my web store, and then just including the shipping for that in the tier, and then having them made and shipped out directly through my store. That way, it's all neatly handled and delivered quickly and efficiently.
So we've got a question in the chat here, Scott. HQ Squeezies, he's asking, is the first issue available? I would like to read it. So
you can get that through digital right now. Is the only available option. We still
may be available in print, but we have to kind of work that out still.
Yeah, the big thing holding that back is we've just recently fulfilled on the Indiegogo campaign for the first chapter. So we're making sure all of our backers have their issues before we do a physical release. The good news is Wikid has copies. We're just waiting to get all the T's crossed and I's dotted, and then we'll have those available for everyone.
Yeah, those will be going up on the store hopefully pretty soon once we've been able to do that.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure everyone has, we don't, any issues that need to be resent out for damage or anything like that. Want to make sure everyone has enough for that.
So far, everyone's gotten it, to my knowledge, except for one person, and that was our international backer.
Yeah, definitely. And so I just want to say one thing is that once it is available, you'll be able to pick it up at our store. I'll go and put that link in the chat there. That's on our website at wikidpublishing.net.
Now, we
have all our books there to check out.
Now, I think with the prints and the stickers, what we did with the first campaign is we just printed from the same printer that did the comics. So then Wikid just ships those along with the comics. And I think with the stickers, I'll put in a bulk order to my store and then just have it shipped directly to Wikid so they can just throw them in with the comics.
Perfect. Yep. That's a good way to do it. We've done that before. Yeah, I mean that works great. And our guy doesn't do stickers, so.
Yeah, but I don't know if you saw the stickers that I had done.
No.
Through the store. There should be a tweet on that.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, if not, I can pull it up for you. They came out pretty big, and I actually did a scale photo with using a pencil just so people could see basically how big they were. This is actually on the store right now. It's a 3-pack, but I would do just an individual sticker just with that exclusive artwork. And that will be available in some of the tiers, along with the T-shirt and the print. Yeah,
go ahead and send that over to me if you can.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it real quick here.
Right. But to Ebi, how are your crowdfunders going? I think you still have a few up, don't you?
Yeah, I think I may be like a sure bet when it comes to fulfilling Kickstarters and and crowdfunding and all that. Because even though we don't get rich, all of them get funded. So yeah,
True. Have you ever had a failed campaign?
Not so far. So fingers crossed.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we just got more lethal completely funded. This cyber ninja comic book that I'm drawing for Aaron Calimeri. And what else? We have John Islau coming up. I think Alex is going to launch it come August. Finally, he was going to do it in July, but life got in the way, as I like to say. So yeah, I have at least 2 more coming up.
What's the name of the first one you said?
More Lethal.
More Lethal. Oh, okay, I'll put the link in the chat here for everybody if they want to go check that out. Well, that's awesome, man. You're one of the most busiest people in comics that we know. You're always doing on some new project. I'm sure Iron Sights 3 is probably around the corner.
Yeah, and Zach hasn't still contacted me, but I'm pretty sure.
I just heard you're doing an Abductable sequel.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Michael sent me the plot outline and some character concepts, and let me tell you, I wanna draw the crap of
Oops.
that bad boy.
Really?
Yeah, it sounds amazing. I didn't know how where we could take the story after the first volume, because the guy was pretty much almighty when the story ends. Spoiler alert, I guess. Michael has found a way to to up the stakes. So yeah, it's a really cool story, and if we gone full doom on this one.
Nice. That sounds promising. I'd like to check that out. So I just put up the link for More Lethal. So that's something. Is that something you worked on then with Aaron Calamari?
Yeah,
Very nice.
it's going
Very
to be
good
like
writer.
yeah, no, he's great. I just got my Cybershot copy, and I can appreciate how the guy has no pretensions and just wants to draw a fun, entertaining story with cool visuals. So it's right up my alley. I always say that drawing More Lethal right now, it's like my cigarette break. When I'm drawing something else and I get bored, I'm just gonna draw some More Lethal, because it's just ninjas and robots and beheadings, headshots too.
No, yeah, that's awesome, man. Excuse me. And then is Johnny's Law still available to pick up?
Sorry, come again?
Is Johnny's Law still available on demand at this time?
Oh yeah, no, it's still not up. We're still on news an email list.
Oh, it hasn't come out yet.
Sites. Yeah, no, not yet. I'm still finishing the art for that one, and
Oh,
yeah, no, Alex wants to
wow.
have it completely finished before we launch.
Oh, here, welcome. At least put up the coming soon page here, so people can sign up for that if they
Yeah, I
want.
just gonna drop you guys a link. So I don't think I pushed this guy soon enough. So there you go. Indiegogo coming up.
So here's a link I'll put on the screen too. So here's the one for More Lethal if you want to go check that one out. And then coming soon is a new project, Johnny's Law. And here's the coming soon link if you want to check that one out as well.
Yeah, if there's any evidence on how busy Ebi is, just look at how many active indie games he's part of.
He's almost always at least in one, if not more. At any given time.
That's what we Spaniards do, because we don't know when we're going to work again. So we just try to get as much work done when we can, because we're gonna go and employ the next month.
Oh yeah, at least you got that mentality down, That'll serve you well. Well, that's excellent, man. It makes it frustrating for me, because I never get to work with you, but maybe one day God will bless me with His graces, and
yeah, man.
I'll get to have you on a project.
I plan on doing this for, if I'm lucky, the rest of my life. So we're bound to cross paths sooner or later. So don't worry about that.
And we have a few things that we're working on together, on in terms of publishing. So I don't think you're going anywhere. So I'm not worried.
I also want to go back to drawing and writing my own stuff. Like
yeah, totally.
At some point, I think one of these years, I guess, I'm going to pitch you like a one shot or something like that, or maybe a graphic novel. And we crowdfund it, and if it's successful, we'll just publish it to Wikid.
That'd be awesome, man. That'd be so cool. Yeah, that'd be great. And I know you and I also talked about how you kind of, after the last volume 9 of Decimators comes out, you had talked about maybe coming back for another another round of Decimators. So who knows even.
Definitely. And I mean, so much stuff has come to light in the last, I want to say, month, since the world practically ended and Decimators came through. Basically, yeah, I totally need to put that in the story somehow.
Right? Yeah. I think that would be ideal. Yeah. A lot, like you said, a lot has changed. So, but that's awesome, man. But speaking of which, what have you guys been up to this weekend? You guys been doing anything fun?
I know Eric and I were gonna probably hopefully work on some Sporkman stuff, and then other than that, like I think I think other than that, we might go out and run to GameStop or something like that. Other than that, we really don't.
Ghost of Tsushima.
No, actually, Sword Art Online.
Oh, really? The new Alicization one they put out?
Art. Yep. I'm gonna be
Nice.
picking that
Very
one up.
nice.
Yeah. The nice thing too is that's actually based on the actual the actual. It's not like an additional story. It's actually the one adapted from the manga and the anime.
Huh. Okay. Very nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
The Gun Gale side story.
Yes. Yeah. So other than that, we were I got some computer stuff he wants me to work on. Other than that, we don't really have other than going on. So. But that's really what we're planning on for today. But yeah, that's my goal.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I'm I know Sword Art Online gets a lot of flack, but I really enjoy it. I love the universe that it builds.
Yeah, no, this season's been great, I think.
Oh yeah, the Alicization arc. If anybody can actually, there's 2 series from Sword Art Online I really suggest. The Gun Gale Online one. With Lena, and then the whole Alicization arc, including before the War of the Underground, like that whole arc, I think that has been like the best. And I mean, I love Gun Gale, and I love the the one with Shion and stuff like that. Like I love all of them, but I think this series Alicization arc has definitely been the best. Like writing and artwork has been beautiful. Like
every episode. Been awesome. It's intense story too. It's good.
Yeah, the other thing probably I might watch when I get home tonight. I've been rewatching Danmachi, which I highly recommend if anybody hasn't watched that. Danmachi is a great series. Is it wrong to pick girls up in a dungeon?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's a fantasy. It's actually a fantasy world as set like basically like these gods come down to Earth and they form familias and stuff like that, and family, and they bless people with powers to go like through this dungeon and stuff like that. And it's the main character's name is called Belkrane, and his goddess is Hestia, and it's his adventures and stuff like that. But definitely highly recommend that series. That's been a good one. It's not an isekai either. It's not a different world one where somebody from Earth is gone into this other world. It's really it is a pure fantasy, anime and manga.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I'll check that out. Yeah, I'm also looking forward to the last season of Attack on Titan coming out this year.
Yeah,
it's the last season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Final
I'll
season.
Wait till it's out and I'll catch up on the whole thing. That's kind of the way I feel with series. There's so much genre stuff out there. It's like I'll see a preview for something. I'll be like, that looks really cool. And they'll be like, a new series coming to. I'm like, I'm done. Out. I'm not gonna bother.
Well, the thing is, though, Attack on Titan has so many issues of manga. I mean, I think right now they're up to like volume 35.
Getting pretty up there.
Well, yeah. Then look at My Hero Academia. That is which is another anime and manga I highly recommend for everybody to watch.
That's like a Japanese thing, right? They are so disciplined that they say I can keep doing this. Like I don't know, they maybe get used to the characters and to the routine of making the comic book, and they can make like 100 volumes and be like
dude.
Stuff like 20 years.
The thing, they do that, but the mangakas over there, unfortunately, I feel bad for them because they live very they unless you're like
modestly.
If you don't, unless your series hits really big. You're pretty much like us. Most mangakas over Japan are a lot like us. Barely making any money. You have to work other jobs. Unless you get like an anime of your manga, you're not going to be that big. So
yeah, it's tough, and they have assistants. They a lot of times have to pay and stuff, so it makes it difficult.
Yeah, and of course, we don't even want to get into what the anime industry's like either on pay either.
Mhm.
So, you know, but
Yeah,
still,
I-
I
Did you
love
ever?
it. I
I
I was
was
gonna
just
say,
say.
I was,
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
for me though, I love the Japan is keeping a lot of the elements that we have here in Western culture alive.
Mhm.
From going to a different world, because really we invented a lot of that genre, the fantasy genre, superhero genre. I mean, they're keeping that stuff alive, and that's what I love.
Yeah. Well, and I do know that some of the bigger mangaka do pretty well and can live off of royalties and things like that. And so it kind of all depends. But yeah, it definitely could be better. There could be more support probably. But yeah,
there's definitely, that's where I think where like in America, like I really think people should be supporting, like buying the manga, buying the light novel, buying figures, because that they all get, the mangakas get money from that stuff. Not so much anime, because those are done by production companies, but like for sales for like manga, light novels,
oh yeah, definitely
their
helps.
merchandise.
Yeah.
They get money. That money actually does go to the mangakas or the writers and stuff like that of the stuff. So that I highly recommend. The merchandising always gets back to the people. As Mel Brooks says, merchandising. What's that?
So are you saying we need Sporkman the toilet paper?
I think we need Sporkman the toilet paper.
Oh,
You
God.
definitely need a Sporkman the flamethrower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sporkman the flamethrower.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
I did make that joke to Brian from Rags. I was like, "Where's Rags the flamethrower?"
Nice. Yeah. Just work on it with Elon Musk, and there you go. You'll have one.
Yeah. Oh God, I would love Elon Musk to work with him. He But anyhow, I know he's liked or disliked.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Dude's so awesome, dude. I freaking, people give him a lot of crap and stuff, and he may be a little rough around the edges, but I think a lot of people like him kind of are, and I just love what he's doing, man.
Technology wise, if you think about it, like he has like really revolutionized PayPal. How much would
which a lot of people don't realize he was involved in that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's made his millions.
Yeah. SpaceX. Tesla. Now of course him working on high-speed railing systems here in the United States and stuff like that. Like the guy's hands in everything. I know a lot of people have issues with him, but I like. I mean, he won like just recently. The launch that they just did for NASA. Taking
dude, this was so cool. I watched a lot of that live, and it was awesome.
Yeah, and that was done by SpaceX.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, it's a whole new era for space travel, really. I mean, that they're launching here, commercial space travel. I did a PowerPoint when I was in middle school about space tourism, and it's coming true. It's like, oh my God, it's amazing.
Oh no, I look around anymore, and I'm in favor of leaving the planet. Get me out of here,
Jeremy. It's a Jeremy, and he's wearing a spork shirt.
My shirt can beat up your shirt.
Well, I don't have a Sporkman shirt on right now. I have a Jurassic Park shirt on.
Oh,
and I
no.
got Regina and her Ghostbusters.
Unsporkmanlike conduct. Red flag.
How you like your shirt, Jeremy?
It's great. I mean, I'm wearing it for a reason. What other shirts declare they can beat up your shirt?
Not too many.
I think the shirt and hat combo. It's really classic.
Hey, the other question I was going to ask you, Jeremy, was how do you like your action figure? And you got, of course, I know you got the cards too.
Yeah, those are great. I love them. Well, I will demonstrate the action figure to people. Just a second.
Let's check it out.
This thing is a very posable, bendable thing.
Wow.
So it's on a pedestal that I can take it off of, right? And it's can just quite a range of motion.
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that Jeremy got. He was one of our high backers on the tier, so
Yeah.
he got the custom figure, and he also backed our Kickstarter campaign too.
Yeah.
So he was able to get some limited edition cards that were drawn by
Peter Smetti.
Peter Smetti, and there was one that was done by
Pixel.
Pixel Art. Yeah, Pixel Art Trader.
Yeah.
That,
So yeah, I mean,
Nice.
this is really cool. And how many of these exist?
5
Oh, okay.
Man,
5 figures.
that's
I'm not making any
exclusive.
more.
He's like,
Not
I'm not
enough of
doing
those.
it. You won't.
Not
You can't make me.
Yep. So 5 figures. That's all. That's all that are available. So
Okay.
yeah. So you got a limited edition.
Yeah, well, I think that this should be less limited. Like, these are really cool, and people should at some point be able to get something like this. They're great.
We
That would
have
be
talked
nice,
about
huh?
possibly doing a campaign for action figures.
Yeah.
The problem is, and this
Yeah.
could really be sidetracked, so I don't want to get into it too deep. But really, when it comes to manufacturing anything,
Mhm.
now that, I took a company that already has blanks, and I sculpted the helmet, sculpted the hands,
Yeah.
cast them, made molds and everything. But
Yeah.
the problem is, almost all manufacturing of toys, action figures, it's all done in China.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And like right now, I mean, for my own business, I have a modular playset design that I was going to get done, and I was going to have to get it done in China just because no place here in the U.S. is really doing it.
Mhm.
The only place I found in the U.S. that could do it would be, I shit you not, 10 times the cost
Wow.
for every part.
Yeah.
And the mold would be about $40-some thousand more to do it here in the U.S. So, with our current relationship with China, I'm not putting any money into them.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I mean,
right.
I wrote a piece for the Washington Examiner looking at like companies and supply chains and how they relied so much on China as their a big part of their supply chains, and how much trouble that caused when everything hit the fan, and how in the longer run of things they're. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Sorry, my bad.
Wow.
Okay, we're good. A lot of huge companies are just saying, we're going to find other ways than China to deal with this, because for them, yes, it's still cheaper to do it in China theoretically, but if you can't get the products to people on time, then in practice it's not cheaper.
It's really difficult when you're talking about something, like an action figure or a toy, where it's not a necessity item.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, how do you convince people just have this idea that, hey, we could just snap our fingers, we could do all this manufacturing here. Well,
Yeah.
the problem is so many manufacturers stop doing it that there really aren't manufacturers that are even doing it here in the U.S. And if they are, how many people are going to be willing to spend $50 for an action figure that they can currently get for $10?
Yeah. I don't. Toys. I don't. But how does Todd McFarlane do his toys?
They're probably done overseas.
Yeah.
Like Hasbro, they don't use China quite as much, but they've moved a lot of manufacturing to Vietnam.
Yeah.
But again, they're not doing it here in the U.S.
Sure.
Yeah. But and that's the thing is, do we have the option of doing I love Model 316 did that Static Jack figure, but we wanted something a little bit,
and that's printed,
and that's 3D printed. Yeah.
Yeah, this was 3D printed amazingly.
Resin printed too.
Yeah. Whereas ours is, we're starting with a blank and did the other way, and I mean both are great, both styles. I mean, I love static figures and I love action figures. It's just either which way the costs are expensive. So
yeah,
definitely.
Couldn't you 3D print the parts for the posable action figure?
No, there's a company that that makes action figures called Boss Fight Studios. They do like a lot of fantasy type action figures, but they also make these figure blanks where you can just get a blank male or female figure that doesn't really have, you know, a ton of detail to it, and it will come packaged with like multiple feet, hands, and heads. And you can get them in all sorts of different colors: blue, clear, white, whatever. And so we bought those in red, and then the parts like the head and the hands, like I hand sculpted all of those, made a mold, so then I could cast, you know, the multiples and stuff.
Yeah. And you know, I like the result, but I'll just point out that it took a bunch of your own time. You know, so you know, that's one of the things, is just that our time is valuable, and you know, that's why there's only 5 of these.
Yeah. We had thought if we ever wanted to, you know, we have looked at running, you know, what it would cost to run a campaign, and honestly, if we would want to do a run, it would cost us $20,000 to $30,000 just to run.
Yeah, like I mean, you know, you could have someone model all the individual parts, and yes, they could all be 3D printed out, but that's still, it's a time consuming process.
Yeah.
And if you want the quality to be really, really good, which I can do, it's expensive. Like
sorry
I
guys,
both
we
a
gotta start
filament printer and a resin
wrapping up
printer.
the first
My
segment.
resin printer, it's like $150 for 1 liter of resin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
And I actually just printed something out that was it was like some railings, and so it was like a very, very spindly part, and it needs to actually model support to hold the thing. And it was like more supports than it was actual product, and it took me 20 hours.
Wow.
That's for like one person's item. 20 hours.
So yeah, there's a lot of options, but anyhow, you know, we're gonna head out here. So
I was about to say we're gonna be wrapping up and bringing some more people on, but could you let us know where we can follow you guys online before you head out?
Yeah, sure. So you can follow me, Chuck, at Sparkman Studios for everything, and
if you want the Sporkman website, it's getspork.com. And then we also have a Facebook page for one that's just under Sporkman, and then we have another one that's it's called like Fans of Sporkman and Sporkman Studios.
We also and then we also have the business page too at Sporkman Studios at our Facebook at Sporkman Studios, something like that.
I didn't know we had 3.
Yeah, we have a business one. Yeah, so that's where you can find us. And Eric's at Jedi Raylan for Twitter.
Cool.
So,
awesome, man. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. I appreciate it. And you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys. Have a great one.
Take care. And who else is going to be heading out at this time?
I can
Jeremy
stay
just got here.
Yeah,
okay.
I just want to hang out with Jeremy. It's been a while.
Hey man, that's understandable. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and bring on some more guests.
There we go.
Welcome Honors and welcome Matt to the stream. Hey guys.
What's good, everybody? How are you?
Hey. Doing well.
Doing good, thanks, man. I'm surprised you're able to break yourself away from Ghost of Tsushima to get.
I don't think I was, but I had to.
What was that comic you were holding up there, Jeremy?
Everyone should get this and read it and marvel at its goodness. It will cost you $10.
What is it?
It's Firepower. It's the latest from Robert Kirkman.
I was wondering about. I love Robert Kirkman. He's probably one of my favorite writers for comics. And how is that, man?
It's great. It's wonderful, and it's it's cheap, and it's a lot of comic at a low price, and you can get it from either on Amazon. You can get it from your local comic shop if they're open. Everybody go get this and just marvel at its goodness.
Firepower. It looks good.
Yeah,
so it's a trade paperback.
Yep. But they just released it that way. Like they didn't bother with the issues. They just said, "Here, have a collection."
Nice.
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know if that's good news because that's how we've been doing it here in Spain for like decades now. We don't publish the floppies. We just publish like the entire miniseries in a trade.
I don't mind it necessarily just because I'm more of a graphic novel person myself. I tend to just buy the trades instead of floppies.
I'm more of a single issue person. I need single issues.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting, man.
I don't know why. I just like having like because I have like these little comic boxes where I put all my issues, and I like being able to flip through and thumb through the issues rather than the big.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, in this case, it's sort of the best of both worlds because you start with this, and then they have a monthly comic right after
Right.
this. So
Okay.
yeah,
That's
this
interesting.
is only the beginning, right? This is just the
I
first
see.
arc,
Nice.
and all the subsequent arcs are they'll be collected, but they're not gonna.
It's gonna be copies
They're
from
not
here out.
releasing the trades in
Introduction.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So
Okay. That's pretty interesting. Yeah.
yeah,
That's good,
just
man.
it's $10 worth of comic. Just a lot of kung fu goodness. I'd be really interested to see what Ibai thinks when he reads it through, because Ibai does the most realistic fight scenes of anybody I've ever seen because he's an actual fighter. I'd be really interested in knowing what you think of this.
For sure, because I have this thing with American artists that most of them don't know how to properly draw fight. Yeah, Japanese artists can draw fight. They'll kill it in every fight related manga that I've read, like Shamo or Noritaka and all that. The fights were always on point, but I don't know, maybe because the Japanese were introduced to martial arts as kids, and American artists are nerds.
I think I know what it is, honestly, Canellis. I'm not sure why. I can't necessarily answer the why it is, but to me, I think the reason that they're so much better at it is Japanese artists have a real sense of movement and energy, and they can capture it in their art so much better than I've seen a lot of American comics, where there's in America a lot of American other comics I've seen very static. It just seems very rigid.
Absolutely. Americans are the creators of the double legal kick. The one that Trinity from the Matrix throws, and that's from 1990s American comic books. That kick doesn't exist. That's impossible. So, you will open a manga and you will see actual martial arts techniques. And
really?
It's Japanese are always on point with the fights.
A lot of people here are much more knowledgeable about Japan than I am. How widespread are martial arts in Japan?
Good question.
In the current day,
I would think they're pretty prevalent, just because I know Japan is as a cultural sense, they have a lot of pride in their own culture.
Yeah,
and I would imagine things like that are tied into tradition in a lot of ways. So I would think it would be.
Okay.
Well, I know that until recently, picking up a martial art was like part of your school curriculum, and they will have like karate clubs or kendo clubs or whatever. So it was pretty common for a Japanese person to be pretty well versed in martial arts.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. I'm a big manga guy myself. So we were trying to get Jeremy into reading more manga.
I'm trying, but I'm doing some of it's good, and then some of it's like, here, let me show you a horrible one that no one should read.
Who's showing you that?
What's your hesitation?
He's having
like the left or right.
Yeah, he's having a hard time.
Read this.
I need to ask, what's it about? I need to know now.
I mean, it's like kind of a girl who falls from I guess she's not an angel, but they're like winged creatures, and she falls from the sky and into a trash heap, or a dump.
What?
And
are you talking about Alita Battle Angel?
No. The lead girl in this, Beyond the Cloud,
not Alita,
which you should not read. I read through the whole first issue, and it you get to the end and it's just there's no. I mean, one of the things I don't like about American, when you do these sorts of things, you have to have a beginning, a middle, and an ending. Like you have to,
right?
Or people go, no, you did not do that right. Versus manga, it's just like, no, this is where we whacked it off in the run, I guess, and. You get to the end of it, and I'm like, I can't keep going with this. It's just plotting and not really giving me things to care about these characters, and bleh.
Well, I can't necessarily answer for that one particular manga, but it's definitely a more serialized format.
Yeah,
which I appreciate.
Yeah, have you tried? The thing I think he would enjoy would be My Hero Academia, because you kind of got that Western hero culture in there.
Yeah,
I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, it also depends on your type of genre too. Like, what do you like? I mean, because I'm not really much of a manga reader myself, but when I do read it, it has to be a specific genre for me to like engage and get into it.
Yeah, there's some more like crime related manga that I've read a little bit of and like, but I'm still waiting in. I'm doing it. I'm reading. At least every month I'm reading a couple of small manga collections.
Yeah.
And at some point it's going to click, but it's just not there yet.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
recommend
comics out there to be reading now anyway, so it's the market's starting to get flooded. So I can understand. Personally, I would read more comics than manga.
Yeah.
If for you, Jeremy, I feel like I would recommend if you're looking for something maybe a little more in the crime genre, maybe Jormungand or what's the other one? Blood? No, what the main character is Revi? Black Lagoon. Black Lagoon.
I'm an old ass guy, so I would recommend maybe Crying Freeman. Sanctuary.
He read that.
I have Crying Freeman. I have not read it all yet. I've read
okay. Yeah. Book. You've read some, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I've read of that I've reasonably enjoyed. But
I want to read that, dude.
Well, it's not hard to get.
No, I know. I have a problem buying too many books, man. I have like so many books on my shelf. It's a addiction.
But a decently long one that's more recent is Demon Slayer. They ended that one.
Okay.
Honors would probably like that one. It's got a lot of like sword work and stuff like that in it.
Oh, Demon Slayer! I watched the anime. There's some that like that in Fire Force. I try to save myself for the anime. Because I didn't want to be put in that Naruto thing where I was reading 20 chapters ahead of where it was animated, and I couldn't do it.
Everything for yourself.
I will say the animated Demon Slayer is just gorgeous.
Yeah, it really is.
So, yeah, I mean, at some point, I'd like to have a discussion with you guys about the different types of anime, because like you use some terms, and I'm like, I don't know what that means.
So we're gonna have a Let's Teach Jeremy anime and manga stream. I'm down with that.
Can we do that live? I'd love to bring some education to the forefront of this important topic.
We can we can do it. I just don't, maybe we can talk about other things today, but at some point I want to know what what shonen style manga is versus other kinds, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah. You got your shonen and your what's the other ones you got?
Well, I hear the term isekai, and I don't know what that means.
Isekai is like an escape to another world genre.
All right.
Yeah, we'll have to bring Jupiter in. She's a good source to tap for that.
Yeah. I'll get there. I'm committed to slowly learning about this and reading.
Oh, and then you have Shoujo. So you got shonen, and then you got Shoujo.
Okay.
So yeah, you got a lot to learn, Jeremy.
Shoujo, is that like JoJo's Great Adventure being Shoujo?
Yeah, no. See, JoJo is it's confusing more. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is what's called seinen or seinen or however you pronounce it.
All right.
So yeah, I'll just confuse it even a little more there. I'll just keep adding genres upon genres.
I'm keeping my hat on to keep my head from exploding right now.
Jeremy, do you read more indie stuff, or do you read more like big publisher stuff like Boom Studios, Marvel, and that type of stuff?
I wouldn't consider Boom to be that big, but it's a real mix with me. I'm more indie than I am other things.
Okay.
But it's not. People when they say like in the 90s, were you Marvel or DC, a Marvel guy or a DC guy? And I go, Valiant. And they're like, what? I mean, some people know what that means, but non-comic book people don't even have a clue what you're talking about.
But guys, I think I'm gonna head out if that's okay, because I think my dad wants to spar with me. How cool is that?
Nice.
That's great.
You gave him a good one for me, Ibai.
Yeah,
go for that.
I'll let you know I'm beating his ass because of you.
Go for that double. I was gonna say go for that double eagle kick.
You know what? I'm gonna try because it's gonna be hilarious to see a 200-pound guy try to accept.
Well, before you go beat some fists in, would you give us your handle and let us know where people can follow you?
Of course, of course. You can find me at my most professional at Decimator's Art, where I try to talk about comics and promote stuff. And then you can find me at my most edgy and shit lordy. You might not like me as much at Canales Ibai, which is more like my personal Twitter account.
Nice.
Cool.
Very nice. Well, we appreciate you coming on to the show, man. It's been a while, so it was nice to hear from you.
Yeah, no, same, man. I miss you all guys.
Yeah, seriously.
All
Well,
right.
enjoy the rest of your weekend, man. Enjoy your sparring match.
Same. I'll let you know how that went. Peace.
Definitely. Later, man. And I think we lost Matt at some point. Didn't we have Matt in here earlier? Where'd he go?
Yeah, he might. You might have to see if he's backstage, or maybe he had to
I don't see him.
reboot.
Yeah, maybe you couldn't get it working, or maybe he was talking and we couldn't hear him because I didn't really hear from him. So maybe he was having some technical difficulties.
I heard him chime in once.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Matt, come back.
Maybe it was too crowded. Come back, Matt. Come back.
I sent you that post with the stickers if you want to pull that up.
Oh yeah, sure. I'll pull it up. I was watching this meme the other day, and it was like this guy goes, he has a light bulb and he has a switch. And he goes, "You have a light and you have a switch. You put it together. Now you have a light switch." And he starts running.
yeah.
He goes, "Oh, don't leave me! Don't leave me! Don't leave me!"
Yeah,
that's so good. Funny.
But it was a Nintendo Switch too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Switch. Yeah.
He had a couple other ones. I can't remember them now.
Yeah, he goes, you take a Minute Maid and you put it on the man. Now he's man-made.
Yeah.
And the last one was what was it? I put the game on my boy. Now he's a Game Boy. Yeah, it's just funny. Here, let me pull up the stickers here. Oh, nice, dude. Yeah. These look good.
We see him?
Here, sorry. Let me get those up there.
Yeah, we were talking about I'm planning out my Indiegogo and some of the because Sporkman was talking about how he was experiencing some shipping issues with how to get posters and stuff, and so I was talking about how I was gonna put some stuff into my next campaign and how I was resolving some of the shipping issues. Mm-hmm. So I was showing him some of the stickers that I got from my web store.
Cool. Nice. So the future campaign. Oh, let's see what we got here. It's coming up. That's cool. Yeah,
I like those.
Rage Puppy for the win.
Yeah, that's it's a 3-pack, so you get the concept version, the comic version, and then you get the logo.
Yeah,
nice.
The top one was done by Matt, fellow co-founder here at Wikid.
Actually, that's Drew's.
Oh, is that Drew's version?
Yeah,
I see. Okay.
Yeah,
it looks very similar to Matt's because it's got the same pose, Yeah. So looking at it far, I thought it was his. Yeah.
Yeah, she expanded on Matt's original concept.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And then Emilio expanded on that further.
Yeah. He is very good.
Oh yeah, that's part of the thing that he brought to the team that we didn't have was that comic book experience.
Yeah.
He's done several other series besides Wrath, and it really shows.
Yeah, no, he's quite good at what he does. I was very impressed. I didn't, I could have read Wrath digitally for a long time, and I just held off. I'm like, nope, gonna wait till I have it in print. And so now I read it in print, and I really liked it. That's awesome. It was good. I liked it. I liked that it was, it was episodic. You got enough stuff that if you only got Wrath #1, it's a fun story. You want to know what comes next, but you don't feel like like, oh, I got ripped off because I have I got a very little tiny piece of this. I liked it, and I won't spoil it for people, but there's a thing at the end where someone is going to react to something, and I want to see that reaction in the next issue.
And I've been doing my best not to spoil that for you.
Yeah. He offered to send it. You're like, no. I want to read this in print again.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because I gave you the digital, and then I didn't hear anything from you, and I'm like, oh, I guess he didn't. And then you're like, oh, I just finally read it. Now they got it in print. I'm like, that's why he hasn't said anything this whole time.
Yeah, no, I really just wanted to experience it in print. It's because I'd seen the first few pages in digital and stuff, but I really just wanted to take the whole thing in, flip it as they say, and yeah, it was a good read.
And
Yeah, I always prefer print.
it looks really good in print. Like
Yeah.
I like it better in print than digital, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I agree. The color contrast really pops on the page.
yeah. Plus, I've never seen. I've obviously seen black, white, and red. That's a fairly common thing. I don't
True.
think I've ever seen black, white, and blue before. I could be wrong. But
100% agree. No,
I'm
I
not
agree with you,
recalling
man.
one. And that's very unique.
Well, there are going to be some red in the future.
Okay.
That was
Nice.
one of the things that kind of led me to adding the color. Is there were certain things I wanted to express with color. So
Yeah.
you're going to have some red contrasting with the blue in there too.
That'd
Yeah.
be cool.
Cool.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to see the next issue come out.
Yeah. What's the win on that?
So we're looking at August. I haven't picked the date yet. It
Okay.
might be middle, might be end.
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely gearing up for it. Definitely getting my ducks in a row. But like you said, the second issue is gonna lead off from the first, and you're gonna see a lot more of the main two characters' relationship, how they kind of bounce ideas off each other and figure out what's going on and unlocking that power that Doug has.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah.
How many issues would you say you've kind of like planned ahead or kind of written? You know what I mean, like or story.
Yeah.
Or outlet?
So I basically outlined the whole thing to go
Right.
six issues. Like I had a very ambitious project,
Mhm.
and knew that I wasn't just going to be able to throw the whole thing down and say fund me.
Right.
So that's why I'm breaking it up into the 6 individual issues, and then the plan is to do that trade paperback through Wikid when we're all done.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, and Alton, you got some comics coming out yourself from Wikid pretty soon.
Oh yeah.
Three issues.
Most definitely.
I'm very excited about that, man.
Yeah, man. I'm definitely happy to get those out, and hopefully Hoger, of course, gets funded, and then we definitely have another Blood Ties like one shot that's coming out with you guys too. I just call it like a beat 'em up comic, so that'll be between like I think that's going to be like 38 pages, 40 pages of just straight ninja action. So
Sweet.
to get that out too.
Heck yeah, dude. Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. And speaking of which, the campaign. I'll pull up the campaign here and put a link in the chat. But you're currently, as you said, you have Holger on Indiegogo right now, and it's doing pretty well. How are you feeling about it right now, man?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't hit the. I mean, we have 15 days left, so I haven't. The anxiety hasn't like really set in, or the panic button hasn't set in. It's just more so like I'm coasting. I think the anxiety rises just a little bit, every other day. But I mean, we're at 35%, and just over $700 funded. So I'm feeling pretty good, and I guess hopefully that madness of the last week push comes in handy. But I'm just coasting right now. I'm happy where it is.
Did you do what length of the campaign did you pick?
What?
How many days was the campaign set up to be?
I put 31 days. It was odd because I didn't want it to end on the last day of July. I wanted to end on the 1st of August.
Okay.
So yeah, I picked 31 days.
If you get over 50%, or maybe over 60%, you can any percentage, but you can extend for another 30 days. Did you know that?
Yeah, I was actually looking at it now because I had it pulled up kind of before I entered, and I can do another 30 days. So I was thinking about looking at that as well. Depending on where we are, maybe like depending on like the last week to see where I am.
Yeah, I'd wait until the last day to pull the trigger. I'm like almost the last hours or something. You can decide in advance, but it really helps to have a time pressure for people. Look, maybe I'll extend, but I'm still at 30 whatever percent. No, I'm not going to extend.
Right.
And it's good to have a time pressure and to say, this is when it's set to end, and not until the last minute do you say, okay, we'll extend it a bit.
Right.
So that's what I would recommend.
Most definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all have been around a lot longer than me. This is my first go, so.
Oh yeah.
And Jeremy had a successful campaign with his Movie Man.
Yeah, I made the mistake of I didn't do it until I did it as because you 60 days you can do total, right? And I did it at 60 days, and that I really in retrospect would have done it as 30 and then it extended for another 30.
Oh no.
So
yeah, that's really interesting, man.
And then you also have if you get successful, you can also go into in demand for as long as you'd like to, which is another option that you can play with depending on what you're setting out to do.
Yeah, I mean it's essentially just a digital storefront at that point.
Nice.
Yeah, I used it to just kind of get some more backers until we were ready to go to print.
Yeah.
So I have the comic up here on the screen. For those who don't know, the comic is about kind of a fictional story of a place called Frida, a land that seems to have maybe been forgotten by the rest of the world as the people move on from the Vikings culture. Mm-hmm. And the last remaining Vikings are vying for control over of this fictional land of Frida. Mm-hmm. And so there's all these different Viking factions and different kind of intrigue and things going on. Mm-hmm. And so our main characters are Holger and his son, and they're part of a faction or a Viking faction. Did the factions have names, by the way?
No. So actually, I'm going to name those factions. Nice. So far, we just have faction 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Oh, okay, for sure.
Nothing was too, I guess, too much. But I've already got some names written through and figuring out if we're gonna put those up or not. But
very nice.
Keep it simple. But I mean, they don't really call each other, faction 1. It's just,
right.
So yeah.
So what can you tell us about the story and why you wanted to do it?
Yeah. So because how much I like dabbing and playing with different types of history, and not necessarily saying this is what really happened in history, this is all end all be all, just a fictional story, and just playing with those characters. Of course, we got the ninjas, and then we have Vikings. And with this one of my things was I liked how Vikings traveled, and I looked at their exploitations and looked where they traveled to, and I was like, wouldn't it be interesting if they left some of their culture with these people, or if they took some of these people back to where, you know what I mean? And that's where I came up with the whole idea of looking at where they traveled. They traveled to North Africa, of course, Mediterranean, Greenland, Iceland, and then Norway, Denmark, and Sweden was pretty much the ones who started it all. So I kind of took those and made those into factions. And I wanted to just tell a story about how everybody looks at Vikings as savages and, raiding, trading, all that type of stuff. But I kind of wanted to tell a story about what if they wanted to maintain peace? How can this Viking or how can this faction maintain peace in this, I guess, this little glass bubble or this land? Everybody wants to, fight for control. But now that we have peace, what happens in day-to-day life? Do some Vikings want to get back to their old culture? Do others just want to live in harmony with each other and that type of stuff? So,
yeah. So this is a fictional place they live, but where approximately would this fictional place be located?
So I would say it would be, I guess, near the Mediterranean on a small strip of land.
Okay.
So somewhere around there in that area.
Okay. So I get it. So this is like, so these are the descendants of the Vikings and people who they've, assimilated to Viking culture, basically.
Pretty much, right. So, let's say, of course, they traveled to North Africa. Of course, they might have taken some slaves back, or they might have left their culture here. And these are the people who was like, okay, I want to go and, I guess, engage in that culture, or someone have no choice. We have backstories that I have planned out that we can do. It's a lot that I can play with within this realm, within this world.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome.
It looked, I just barely looked at it and just said, "Hey, it looks cool," so I backed it.
Nice.
I didn't interrogate it much because I figured, we'd talk in a podcast, and I'd also, I don't like everything ruined before I get the comics. So
true. But yeah,
he had me at Vikings.
Yeah.
Very true.
You mentioned Vikings and ninjas. This doesn't have both Vikings and ninjas in it, does it?
No, it does not. No. My first story that I wrote, Blood Ties, that has the ninjas in it.
Okay.
This is just his own separate.
Keep it separated, man. As the song says.
That'd be too much meathead stuff.
Which Blood Ties is great, by the way. I haven't finished it yet, but if you love like ninja revenge stories, yeah.
I appreciate it.
But kind of a side note, have you ever seen the movie Pathfinder?
I have not.
So Pathfinder is the story of Vikings returning to North America after they'd visited once.
Uh-huh.
And they basically had a kid that was raised by the Native Americans.
Okay.
And he ends up fighting them to defend his tribe.
Oh, that sounds good, actually.
Yeah, it's got some pretty badass action scenes in it.
Nice.
Oh, nice. That's cool, man. It's funny because also on a side note, I actually was going to ask you if you were going to be playing the new Assassin's Creed Valhalla at all. You know,
I am. I'm not really. So here's the thing. I'm not really. I have a love-hate relationship with Assassin's Creed. I don't know why I do this for myself. I buy every single Assassin's Creed, and then I will play it, and then I will stop playing it. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna buy Valhalla and play it because I just they can do whatever they want and still get my money. So I don't know.
The only one that I've played through and loved is Black Sails.
Oh, Black Fox. Yeah, that's a good one. That one, I would say that, and then the newer ones like Origins was also really good.
Origins, yeah, that was the first one I finished. Actually, that was the first.
Yeah, really. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Good story. But yeah, I totally get kind of get where you're going. I'm debating whether I want to get the new one only because I took me 150 hours to finish finish Origins.
Wow, that's an investment.
Yeah, I'm not sure I have a lot. I haven't had me again, you know.
Maybe write a comic book instead, or two, possibly three.
Oh boy, seriously.
Yeah, but
it was intense.
It's gonna take me some time to finish Ghost of. That's a damn good. I don't know if you guys are.
Is it good, man?
That is a good game, man. I'm
not 100% sold yet. You know, I'm not sure. Sell me on it, man. You know. Somewhere the rest of right here.
I'm actually gonna, before he does that, I'm gonna go ahead and bounce.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for take it easy, man, and give us your place where we can find you.
Sure. You can follow me on Twitter. It's at Kishkumen, KYSHKUMEN, and if you want to help me, fund my next comic before the Indiegogo, you can go to ragepuppy.com and pick up some cool Wrath-related merchandise like those stickers you saw.
Nice domain there, man.
Yeah, I like having my own domain there. It's
nice,
lot
man.
Simpler.
Yeah, we finally got our Wikid Publishing up .net. It's a nice feeling to finally have that, honestly.
And it's so much easier than like trying to so you got to go to this /. You know.
Yeah, seriously, you're not kidding.
RagePuppy.com, we're done.
Oh, that's funny. Well, thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, and Matt, come back.
Matt, come back. Don't leave me. Don't leave me.
Right. Take it easy, guys.
We'll see you, man. Oh, man. But yeah, no. So the campaign, man, it looks good, man. I'm really wishing that you guys, for success here. I'm really excited and hopeful for it.
Yeah, man. Same here. I mean, we're at 40 too, so we're almost at that big 50. So hopefully,
yeah, dude, you guys are getting there, and the middle of the campaign is always a little slow. Yeah. Things will pick up, as you said, towards the end, and you just got to keep plugging away like you're doing. You're doing, everything right so far. I saw you were on just another show this other night, right?
Yeah. Good dudes, man. They have good stuff. So definitely, we keep working and getting on some more shows.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely. I'll put out that link later. I'm gonna post that out for people if they didn't get to see it. I'd like people to check that out. So I'm gonna go try and find that.
Well, I gotta go cook lunch, guys. It was dope being around with you, man.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will talk to you soon.
Yeah, brother. Take it easy. You too, Jeremy.
You too.
Later. I'm gonna plug his thing since he had to dip real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and plug his link.
You got to do what you got to do.
Let's can you message Matt Finn and be like, get back in here, brother?
I
Yeah, I
guess.
can do it real quick.
Okay.
Just in case he actually wants to come back. I think he may have left because he felt like there's a lot of people in the chat.
Okay. I don't know.
Sometimes he does that.
Yeah. If
But
things can get crowded, as they say.
but what about you, man? What have you been working on lately?
There's a bunch of stuff. The Wikid specific stuff is that we're I think in August we're going to launch a campaign for Movie Men Meet Sportman, and it'll be a double campaign. There's another book that I did called Tarot, and that's being excerpted in Alternas. It came out on a Wednesday, and basically the issue is that both Sportman is fulfilling right now, and Alterna is introducing this to the world, and so it was like, well, I should do both these campaigns, but I don't want to do two campaigns. So I talked with the Wikid guys and said, hey, why don't we just do this as one? And they said, cool. So that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
I think I'll do both an Indiegogo and a Kickstarter campaign more or less simultaneously. It's possible the Indiegogo will get up faster, just because you just put it up together and push publish and you're there. Whereas Kickstarter, they have to review it.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's usually just a formality, but but I'm also not. I'm used to the system ordering in Kickstarter. I'm not used to putting stuff together in Kickstarter. So, but yeah, I mean, and they're both comics are done. The only thing is that Movie Men Meet Sportman has to be lettered, but that's it, so I don't know. I think it's going to be fun. It'll be an interesting August campaign, and what I hope I could do is just get it funded in a month, and rather than go for another month, just go to in demand, right, until we fulfill, because then it's all done, it's locked, and people can still get on the bandwagon if they want, but the campaign, the active part of it just doesn't last as long, because 2 months of it is kind of nerve-wracking.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously, man. Neostar in the chat says Movie Men meets Sporkman. I can't wait.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it'll be a really interesting pairing there.
Did he just do that comment?
Yeah, a few minutes, like a minute or so ago. Yeah.
Okay. Neostar, tell us. I mean, if you want to just say in chat, and we could pop it in. Tell us what you're up to. I'm interested in hearing how your stuff's coming. So,
yeah, he's got his Riser Man hero.
Yeah,
Riser Man, the hero that shines through the day.
Yeah.
Where is he? Let's see if he can give us some updates on that. Henshin hero, Riser Man. Yeah, he's got some pretty cool stuff with that. We've actually talked a little bit about his work, and he works with really cool artists and stuff. So definitely, I actually like to have him on the shows sometime, on like an indie spotlight maybe or something. Yeah,
it'd be a good one.
Yeah, it would be. It really would.
Indeed.
But
the other thing is that I'm gonna release some stuff on Amazon rather and not try to crowdfund it. It won't be comic books. It'll be at least one kid's book, maybe two.
Nice.
And because you can on Amazon, you can just pop it up there, and they'll do all the fulfillment for you. And
that's nice. Yeah, we have actually Project R up there. With that.
Yeah, because they can do print on demand, and they can do Kindle and Comixology
Space
or
as well as another option.
So I think there's I wrote a kid's book called Growlylocks and the Three Humans. I have Paula Ritchie currently illustrating that, and we're gonna I don't know when exactly, but not that long from now, that's going to be available on Amazon. And then I wrote this other kid's book back in the day, and I was trying to figure out what to do with it. And we're going to put up Growlylocks and see how it does. And if it does reasonably well, then we'll put the other one up. If not, then I'll try to figure out what else to do with it, But I don't know, so that'll be an interesting adventure. Just try to see where that goes. I wouldn't mind getting a lot of my stuff up on Amazon just because it's nice to have. Like there's actually like how do I put this? There's a lot of independent authors who do stuff on Amazon, and as you get more more books that you put up regularly, you tend to attract a following, and it like compounds, because then you'll get like a new follower, and they don't just get one item, they get like, let's say you have 10 up or you have 20, they'll buy it all, right? And that would be fun.
That's pretty cool, man. Yeah, that's a good idea, honestly.
And there are some short nonfiction books I've thought about writing, but I just didn't have a market for it, because I've published things. I mean, I've had books published, but I don't have an agent, and dealing with the book market is always interesting. But if I can make it work, if I can make the Amazon thing work, I think I probably would publish at least one short work of nonfiction a year as well.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
So we'll see where it goes. I'll try a little bit, and then I'll try a little bit more, and then I'll get in over my head. So.
Hey, well, that's the only way you can learn anything, really.
That's right. Just jump into the deep end. You won't drown.
Exactly, it'll be fine.
That's right. It'll be like that. It'll be like that scene in The Sandlot where a beautiful lifeguard bails you out, right?
So we have some updates from Neostar. We got the chats caught up here. So Neostar Productions, he says, the brilliant star that shines through the night, the hit film that makes the crowd cheer, Riserman stands before you. And then to follow that up with, production of Henshin Hero Riserman may slow down for a while. My artist is kind of going through a rough phase right now.
That's too bad.
Understandable. Definitely understandable. A lot of people are. I know a few of my artists are having some tough times. A colorist I work with, a flatter named Anika, aka Cheryl Rodriguez.
Yeah.
She's kind of needs some work right now, so I'm been helping her out a little bit, because she's my go-to flatter.
Yeah,
she does good work, and so yeah, definitely if you're out there working on projects, you know that if you're supporting your artist, they definitely appreciate that at this time.
Darn right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got a new comic coming out, man. After Barrels number 4 is coming out. Well, Barrels number 3 is being worked on right now. I don't know if you've seen some of the pages coming out from Jeff's page.
Yeah, I think I've seen some. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So issue 3 is coming out soon, and then issue 4 will be the final issue.
Okay.
That'll be the very final issue. And then after that, I got a secret project that I'm going to be working on. I'm keeping it close to the chest, so to speak. So because I think it's a pretty cool idea, and I kind of want it to be some more of a surprise, and I want to get out there.
Yeah.
But it'll be cool, man. So I'm looking for artists right now.
Yeah. And here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Matt Trent.
Dun dun dun. What's up, dude?
Well, not much. The Indiegogo got funded.
What?
Very nice, man. Congratulations.
Thanks.
That's amazing.
$1,032.
What happened?
Very nice, dude.
Did more people throw in, or did a big one throw in, or how did it go?
Last one picked up one of the returning physical cameos. So basically, what you get is the physical comics, and then yourself drawn into account, or your product or character that you're pushing into the comic.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
That's
awesome, man.
I don't look as ecstatic as I feel. All right. This is great. I was like agonizing over this thing. I'm like, why isn't it funded yet? And like now it's funded. Oh, that is
why?
Why?
No, that's awesome. Yeah.
That is wow. I'm gonna be skipping through the rest of the day.
And now the Kickstarter only needs $185.
Okay.
That just goes to show you that coming back for round 2, even if you don't make it the first round, you can always come back and get success on that second round.
Yeah, and you discovered that you can do it again with Kickstarter, because originally that wasn't the case, but I'm glad that they've changed that now.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's funny because I I kept on seeing a lot of campaigns that just restarted over and over again.
Mm.
So it's odd that you ran into that issue.
Yeah, well, I mean, Kickstarter, what they had is you can't have the exact campaign again. So people would do slight tweaks, but now they've changed it, so you can just run it again.
That's good. I'm glad they changed it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did it because Indiegogo allowed that, right? So, and they're their big competitor, and so the features that are good from Indiegogo will eventually find their way to Kickstarter. Like this, I think the surveys will go away eventually, and because that's just freaking annoying on Kickstarter. And I think you will eventually get charged at point rather than charged at the end of the campaign, because right now you have something like 5 to 10% of the cards that decline on Kickstarter.
Really, that's interesting.
Yeah. Versus the money is just taken out immediately at Indiegogo. It won't allow you to back unless the money is there through your credit card company. And it's just much more stable for creators that way.
By the way, Matt, Neostar says, "Oops, that's the wrong message." Congratulations, dude.
Thank you, Neostar.
Mm-hmm.
Neostar is one of the best people out there because he's always out there supporting new creators, new projects, going on in the chat rooms of streams.
Yeah,
I don't know where he gets all the time from.
Well, we appreciate it, man. We appreciate it too, because he's awesome, man. I always love seeing Neos around the chat, and his enthusiasm is definitely appreciated.
Yep.
It's effective too.
Really. Yeah, well, I mean, it's nice, it really is, and it definitely shows that he's passionate about indie comics and comics in general and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I was just telling Jeremy earlier, I actually like to have him on a show sometime to talk about about his projects and stuff.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah. A lot of cool creators out there in the community.
Yeah.
Jeremy just whacked a bug.
I tried to. That fly got away though.
Ah, damn it! I hate flies, man.
I'm good at I'm good at mosquitoes. I'm
really
I have a pretty good batting average with mosquitoes, but flies are just a little too fast.
Do you know the secret with flies? How to get them? How to sneak up on them?
Well, use something that's big.
Well, big. Well, that's true. Too big, and you probably already know this too. But I was always told to move really slow because they pick up on fast movements quicker than they do on slow movements. So if you move really slow just above them, you can sneak up on them.
He was on my arm, and I was moving my arm close to my didn't work though.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, it's that season again. I guess it's depending where you live. Over here, it's been pretty hot lately. So
yeah, the Stan Lee, right? The bug.
Who?
Stan Lee? Who's Stan Lee?
Who's Stan Lee?
I don't know. They had the hardest time selling the higher ups on Spider-Man because they're like, no, it's a bug. Who wants to have a hero?
Oh my god!
And that's why he doesn't. His first appearance was like the last issue of a canceled comic, or what was set to be a canceled comic, right? Because they wouldn't allow him to launch him as his own title, and so
really?
Well, fine, we got to find an issue. We got to fill an issue anyway. So here you go. So it was it was an Amazing Fantasy 15, and that was set to be, and I think it may have been the last issue of Amazing Fantasy. I don't know. And so that he had to do the debut as the final cancel issue of a canceled title, and people really liked it, and so then we got Spider-Man.
That's pretty awesome, man. Can you imagine no Spider-Man? A world with no Spider-Man?
It'd be very different.
It would be a sadder world.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to live in that world.
He also rejected his initial proposal for the X-Men.
Oh yeah.
It just shows you sometimes people don't see the visionary creative when they're presented with it. They have to wait, and not until hindsight that some people can't see that.
Though I don't know. You know the X-Men better than I do, Matt. Was it terribly popular under Lee, or was it only under Claremont that it sort of rose to popularity?
I think it was very popular under Stanley, but I think it was the Claremont era that defined them better.
Yeah.
And basically, the whole concept behind Iron Man for going to another character is they wanted to make a millionaire look cool.
Yeah.
And man, bro, they sure did. Most
All you-
relatable
all you
millionaire in
have
the
to
world.
do- all you have to do is to make Robert Downey Jr. play him in a movie.
Okay, here's what Sandy's like, all right, here we go. So you got Iron Man. How do we make him the most likable character? It's easy. You just cast him as Robert Downey Jr. It's
There you
simple. It's that easy.
Which that was also a very big. That was also a very big risk they were taking as well. Casting him
True,
with
yeah.
drug abuse.
Because he was only
Yeah, no, I mean, it's true.
he was only recently insurable. He had to actually go through and work a bunch of different smaller movies before the insurance companies were willing to actually insure him. I think the movie that finally did it, where they were willing to do it, like the movie before Iron Man, was there's a movie called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and that was sort of like a medium budget movie, and so they took a chance and insured him, and it worked out fine. And so then he was able to do Iron Man after that.
Well, it's so cool, like to where he came from is such a low point to where he's come now. It is literally the story of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
So it's perfect.
Plus, he was one of the few actors to take Marvel up on the profit sharing stuff. Right. So he took less, for instance, he took less money for Avengers, right? Which for a while was the best selling movie of all time, right? And ended up making like $50 million.
That's just good business right there too.
Oh yeah.
Just about none of the Lord of the Rings actors have to work because they took profit sharing.
That's such a good idea. Yeah.
You want to there's this. I guess we're almost out of time. I'll just tell a quick story because it's awesome. Here's the difference between Marvel and DC, or the MCU and the DCEU or whatever it's called, and how they treat their talent and why Marvel is it's done better. Okay, the A in the Avengers, the Stark Tower, right? The basis of Avengers. Like they took a building and they actually put a big A on it. And Robert Downey Jr. just made some offhand comment about how, oh yeah, it'd be cool to have that, right? The movie finishes and it shows up and like they ship it to his house and they're like, here.
Oh my god.
Versus Ben Affleck, he said, hey, it'd be cool to have this Batman costume because then I could go and do meet kids in hospitals with my Batman costume, right? And they're like, great, $100,000.
Oh my god, dude! What?
Yeah, they're like, sure, you can have it for $100,000.
So awful. That's so bad.
Apparently, Henry Cavill took home his Witcher costume.
Okay.
He didn't get to take home a Superman costume, though.
Probably not.
He kept the mustache, so I'll say that.
Chris Pratt said he stole his Star-Lord costume from the set. The fact that he could say that means they didn't care.
Yeah, right. They're like, yeah, that's not high on our priority list.
Yeah,
that's not the same as say like an Iron Man suit or a Batman suit, maybe.
It's slightly different, but yeah.
But man, the whole thing about Joss Whedon coming out with Justice League.
Yeah.
What's that?
All the accusations of his unprofessional behavior.
Oh yeah. The guy who played Cyborg was like, dude, he's just awful to work with.
Yeah.
And then the accusations keep piling on with a stunt coordinator talking about how he tried to split her up with her now husband.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just
he sounds like a Stanley Kubrick type.
Yeah.
Or
Josh
James Cameron.
Has some issues. So
yeah, so some of those directors are kind of like that. They kind of over. I feel like sometimes they overdo. What's the word? Over the bounds. They go over the bounds a little bit.
I think it's also because he let the praise go to his head, and that's one thing you should never do is let the praise go to your head.
That's why you got to wear a hat.
Special kind of hat.
I actually this hat formed the basis of like part of a character of a forthcoming topic I'm doing.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Anyway.
Neostar said, "Was there really any fanfare for Cyborg in that movie? Not too much.
No.
They were trying to make him something relevant because he was never really that big in it. I appreciate the try for it, and I'm super excited to see the Zack Snyder cut and see what that's about because I'm stoked for that. I don't know if it'll be any good, but
yeah, I mean, like, I'm not convinced it'll be any good, but
I don't. Yeah.
I really don't like what Joss. I had high hopes when Joss took over.
I do too.
Because, like, you know,
I did.
Well, Avengers. Look what he did with Avengers. You know,
he did great. Avengers was great. He's done some great work, and I just thought, you know, maybe he can salvage this. Right? No. No.
Here's why I didn't have any faith in it. It's because him and Snyder have such two conflicting views that ails his class. And
that's
all
very
that money
true.
thrown in just so that Josh could have his right.
Yeah, I did, and then also the other thing that really made me upset about the whole thing is just because Zach was going through a lot of stuff in his personal life, and it was removed for a very personal reason.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I just felt like it was very unfair.
Apparently, he was bad mouthing Zack Snyder the entire time he was there.
Oh my god, Jesus!
That sounds about right.
You know, give Zack Snyder as much hate as you want, but I think he has got a lot of really artistic and stylistic flair, and
he's very good at choreographing.
Yes, so good at choreographing, and like Watchmen is one of my favorite movies. I absolutely love the Watchmen movie he did. It's damn near perfect.
Yeah.
Did you want to do a Revolutionary War movie in the same style as 300?
Oh, you're talking about Sucker Punch?
No, he wants to do a
new one.
Movie about the American Revolution set in the style of 300.
Oh man, that'd be wild.
I don't. Sorry, I'm putting my hats on.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I guess we're about the end of our time here. So, we're gonna say to Zach or Matt.
Let's just hope that he keeps the choreography. You know, the good kind of choreography.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anything,
an entertaining movie.
If any of his past movies are anything to judge by, I would definitely say he's going to do that.
I want to see what he does with George Washington.
Oh my god, dude! George Washington's gonna be a crazy person.
Like this berserker, like George Washington in a berserker rage.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I'm having a hard time imagining it.
This is America.
Boom! The George Washington kick. That'll be the new thing, dude.
I think
Tonight, we dine in America.
You know, I think that'll be the best movie to watch on 4th of July.
Most patriotic movie.
Forget Mel Gibson, the
Patriot. There's a new Patriot in town.
It's the Patriot.
Oh my god, dude. Instead of the Boston Tea Party, it'll be the Boston Tea Massacre.
Oh yeah.
It'll just be, oh god. It'll be zombies or something. Who knows, man?
You know, speaking about Mel Gibson movie, I read that while Robert Downey Jr. was having his drug issues, Mel was the only one of the few who was willing to work with him through his addiction.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And Robert Downey Jr. said that if he is to do Iron Man 4, he wants Mel Gibson to direct it because he wants to give him work. He stands loyal to everyone, so it helps him.
I can't see Disney rushing up to hire that guy anytime soon. But
I mean, if Downey insisted on it,
that's true though. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, if it would bring Downey back to the franchise somehow, even though it would be difficult to do in this point, if he could do it, they would do it.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's an interesting point. Yeah. But all right, man. Well, I appreciate you guys jumping on here. We're probably going to wrap up here.
Happy to be here. I'm
Yeah,
glad.
definitely, man.
I
It's been a
know
while.
we haven't been able to do them for a while because various things, but I'm glad that it's back, and I hope to see you guys again in a couple weeks. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at Jeremy Lott Diary.
Jeremy Lux Diary. I'll post up the link, and then Matt, where can people follow you as well?
You can find me at Matt Trin on Twitter, and it's great to be back on after what, about a month or so.
A little bit over a month. Yeah, we took a little hiatus. Take a little break. I know there's some things going on and different things. We were pretty busy with Wikid, so.
And 2020 has been a horrible year.
Yeah, to say the least. So yeah, it's been wild. So we appreciate everybody who came and watched us, today, and everyone watched on the replay and jumping back in here with us. So the plan is to continue these episodes. We'll probably go back to our old schedule every other week.
Cool.
So we won't have one next weekend, but we should have a new episode the week after.
Very
and cool. So really excited to be back. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do so at Wikid Publishing. I'll go put the link up there as well. And if you want to go to our website, we're at wikidpublishing.net. You can check out all our different series that we have currently out and the ones coming soon. You can also pick up anything that we have in print or digital in there in our store, at the Wikid store, and all sorts of good stuff. So definitely go check out this again. That's wikidpublishing.net. And we also, obviously, if you can give us a like or subscribe, we definitely appreciate it. All the scribes really help us out and whatnot, and help build that following up. And so we got other shows to check out as well. If you want to check out our catalog, we got Indie Spotlight interviews, Wikid creator interviews, and some other fun stuff, some game stuff, and a variety of different stuff. So definitely go check it out. And we'll see you guys in a couple weeks on next episode. And definitely have a great Wikid weekend, man. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care, everyone.